Welcome back to Finnegan Begin Again. You may ask yourself, what are you doing? What is that crazy man doing? Well, dancing with the torque tube. No, I'm not pole dancing, I'm torque tube dancing. Anyway, this is the torque tube that connects the transmission to the rear end via a drive shaft that goes in the center of here. Now, when I took this off, you may have remembered that some oil and stuff was leaking out. Well, looking down inside of it, it's really, really greasy, grimy, and stinky. So what I've done, with the help of friends, is we've created a bottom flange down here and a gasket so that I could fill this with gasoline, which is an excellent grease remover. So, got it down in there, filled up to about here, because right here is a roller bearing that I can't get out, so I want to get that nice and cleaned off. According to the drive shaft, it doesn't look like there's any pitting or anything in that area that would make me think that the bearing is bad, so we're just going to reuse it rather than go through the effort of removing it and taking it out with some special tools. But I want to get it clean, because this slosh, don't know if you can do that. This is going to be one of the parts that goes down and gets powder coated and blasted. And I don't want them sticking this in the oven full of grease. Make it as nice as possible for them. So I'll be emptying this out into, it's been sitting in there for a couple hours, just emptying it out into here. Oil change reservoir. All right, let's get it done. All right, let's dump some of this nasty. That used to be clear. Alright, well, I didn't see any big gloopy gloppies of grease come out, but you can see some bunch of residual grease and stuff on there. Okay, a couple more times of that, should be clean. Let me give you a tour of what else I've been up to off camera, sparing you all from watching boring stuff. Basically, I've been swimming in a pool of gasoline for a couple weeks now, cleaning off, let's see, the brake drums. Those are the rear axle tubes. Those were also greasy, nasty inside. Went and purchased a toilet brush, which you can see right here, which is now nasty, grimy, greasy, ugly, never to be used on a toilet, and a toothbrush to get a lot of this stuff off the gears and grease and the kind of burnt on stuff. Not to mention, we used an acetylene torch. You can see it's kind of discolored here, but nice clean iron underneath right there. We used an acetylene torch to get the metal shanks that were inside there from the suspension mounts and get those out, as well as all the oil seals and bearings from inside of these. There's the two rear axles. Those were removed from the main differential gear to get them cleaned, and there's a couple bearings that needed to be replaced in there. I've also been sandblasting a lot of things. Here are the backing plates for the brakes. They're in the process of being painted black. Here's that rear differential gear, 3.78. And here are some of the oil seals that we had to somewhat destructively remove, but those are easily replaced. Down here, I've got another layout of things to be primed and painted. Got the horns there, some of the spray pans for underneath the car, and the radiator, as well as some defrosting pipes and fan housings for the simple defrosting unit for the car. But ultimately, that's where I'm at right now, just kind of making everything clean while I'm getting everything ready to go down for blasting and powder coating. Nice, you know, this looks like chaos, but you know, it's organized for me. I was given a radiator by Mr. Jim. Thank you, Mr. Jim. It was very kind of you. That does need to be re-cored, but it's cheaper to re-core one of these locally than buy a new one, so we're definitely going to do that. It is original off of a 37, but they didn't change them from 37 to 39. 39 standard at least. So we'll send that down, get it re-cored, and make it the way he does it. It's actually more effective at cooling, so that'll be good for our flathead. So that's where we're at. We got some of the brake pieces parts, and there's the front spindles. They're blasted and ready to get painted. And there we are. One thing I did determine is that we're going to keep the original gas tank. You may remember that we did a borescope up at Bubba's house and looked inside, and everything looked good inside. We just need to blast the outside and paint it. And then I'll do a engine sealing system inside. You can, you know, buy off of Amazon from POR. And yeah, I washed it out with gasoline. The gasoline that came out had a little bit of rust in it, and just kind of rust colored, not any chunks. I found a 1962 nickel inside of there. That was interesting. I was kind of hoping it would be older, but that's okay. That's okay. 62 is still old. Anyway, so that's where we're at for now. Get some of this spray painting done, and we're now into the cleaning up, reassembling, putting it back together. Exciting times. All right, this is going to be interesting. Underneath this Zerk, in the center of the torque tube, there is a roller bearing that is meant to support the drive shaft that's inside of there. 37 is when they started, because they put in a solid drive shaft rather than a hollow one. And because it was solid, it needed to have that extra support in the center to keep it from whipping back and forth. Sorry for the shaking. Warren keeps moving the camera because he's not paying attention.
And Raleigh was behind you because he was making an X.
That's much better than moving the camera, isn't it? Isn't it? You guys would rather Raleigh move behind me, right? Yes, that's right. Making the people on video sick. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the drive shaft and we're going to put it through there. I've already done a borescope inside of there to make sure that the bearing is complete. But what we want to do is make sure that now that it's clean. It's a pain in the butt to get out because it's there, and it's also mounted in rubber. So borescope showed that it was complete. We're going to make sure it's clean, and we're going to make sure that everything is rotating well on the drive shaft. All right, here's the drive shaft, and here's the area on the drive shaft where that bearing rolls. I mean, obviously it looks like it's been rubbing on it, you know, but it's smooth, no pitting or marking, so indicates that the rollers are at least still good. And let's just clean them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick the drive shaft in, roll it around inside of the bearing to make sure it rolls evenly, and then we're going to pour some gasoline in that Zerk fitting, little bit by little bit as we rotate it to kind of clean it out. Here we go. Turn it. Keep turning it.
Oh. Keep on.
Turning it. Turning easier. Keep turning. You're turning
I can
easy.
hear the water.
Keep going. Hey, that's gasoline. Take your hands out of there. Now you have to go wash them real good.
Are they stuck like this forever?
Forever.
Oh, wait. Got jammed for
Yeah. It's probably working out a clump of something. Yeah, that's gasoline.
Actually, it smells so good.
Okay, go the other way.
That's
Going
you
just
done.
as easily?
What?
Is it going just as easily the other way?
Dad, look, done. Dad, look. Dad, look. Oh, I didn't get a help
Okay,
on
I think we'll call that good.
I didn't get a help on anything.
Well, that's okay. You were moral support.
We'll come off
Warren,
to
put
this
that zerk
side.
fitting back on. There you go.
And go into
It's good and tight.
Can someone
Turn
come
it so
off
it's
to
good
the
and tight.
side so I can see them on here?
All right, thank you very much. Okay, let go. Okay, I think we're good for tonight. So,
Bye. Uh-oh.
the drive shaft rotated. Could you step out of the way, please? Thank you. The drive shaft rotated freely. And what came out?
Gasoline.
What looks like junk came out with the gas, so we'll probably have to flush it again, make sure that it's all good inside of there. And so that saves us from having to remove this carefully and put it back because we can't replace it. They don't make them anymore. Fine one's about 300 bucks.
We're gonna
So if I can save 300 bucks on a bearing, that'd be great.
I have 200.
I'm going to try something. Rather than using brute force, I'm going to try and use physics, engineering. So this is the worm gear for the steering shaft that attaches the steering wheel. As you turn it, it turns a sector gear, and that causes the pitman arm to move and then your wheels to move back and forth. Well, this is the one that came off of fitting in. And if you can see, there's a lot of pitting and marring right there, and also there's metal missing from these gears. It probably wasn't aligned correctly or something, but I have to get a new one of these. And I actually, Mr. Jim down the road had one, and he removed this from the steering shaft, and well, he removed his from the steering shaft and gave it to me with the sector gear as well. So thank you, Mr. Jim. I really appreciate it. What I'm going to do is the good one is in the oven right now, heating it to 300 degrees. And the shaft is in the freezer back there. So being frozen, it should get smaller. And being heated up, this should get bigger. So we had to use a 12-ton press to get this off of the shaft. So I'm going to see if maybe that slight bit in size change will make this go on a little bit easier. This is nice and cold. This is nice and hot. Let's see if it works. Line up the key with the keyway. Ooh. Rubber mallet. going. Use a little bit more force. We're going to save some money wherever we can, and these, to replace them, are not cheap. They're $400 to $500 each. They're really heavy, so they're going to cost a lot in shipping. So I'm going to take a wire wheel to them and make them look pretty. So it's all cleaned and somewhat shiny. Looks almost brand new. Beautiful. That takes a significant weight off of my shoulders and weight off of my wallet. Now to do the rear one. Just so you understand, this is the before. Looking crusty, rusty, greasy, ugly. And this is the after. So much prettier. It actually looks like it has some metal in it. Oh, so pretty, so satisfying. Okay, we're installing the bushings in the brake frame. This is for the clutch sector. One on each side. And now the other side. Now the bushing in the brake pedal. Now we're setting up the steering sector bushings. One on each side.
Hi.
Let me get it started.
And now it's all the way down, and you cheeky. Your name is. What's your nickname?
Going?
Keep going. Yeah, it's going.
Is your nickname Mike?
No.
That your middle name?
No.
First?
Yes.
Oh. What's your middle?
John.
Second?
What's your middle name?
Warren Lee Richardson. Lee.
Lee? Okay. There you
Warren Lee.
go. Hey, give that this down.
Actually, Richard is my name. Can I click on this? Oh.
Here you go.
You're good.
Okay, so now we're going to use this same hydraulic press to try and push the piston out of the master cylinder. It's old and crusty in there and it's kind of seized in place. So we're going to use 20 tons of hydraulic pressure to try and pop it out the bottom. Should see it pop out the bottom there if it goes. Right now we're compressing the spring down to the piston. Oh, I think it went. Something moved. There we go.
What is that?
That's the master cylinder for the hydraulic brakes.
Oh.
see if it's sticking up.
I would be careful. That spring is under compression.
Oh yeah, it's sticking up the bottom.
It's gonna come shooting out of there. I think. Comes free. It should go pop.
There we go.
I did not expect it to be that easy.
There's the rest of it with some brake fluid.
Crap.
Yay! So now we've got the master cylinder reservoir. We plugged up the hole in the bottom that goes into the cylinder itself, and we filled it with some rust converter. It's gonna sit overnight because that tank was pretty crusty. So we'll just have it sit here in this workhorse and let it do its thing. See what it ends up looking like.